Hey guys, Darren here from Celebrity Tributes. Today's video is a tribute to the rock legend Meatloaf. Today's video will be a long one, so hold on tight. Meatloaf was born Marvin Lee Adday on September 27, 1947, to parents Wilma and Orvis in Dallas, Texas. His father was an ex-police officer and served in World War II. His father became an abusive alcoholic. Meatloaf and his mother would regularly spend nights driving around local bars trying to find his father. After his mother's death from cancer, his father, in one of his drunken rages, attempted to kill Meatloaf, resulting in Meatloaf defending himself, breaking his father's nose and ribs. Later in life, he said that he forgave his father. Meatloaf graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School in 1965. He performed in school-stage productions and played football as a defensive tackle for the Rebels, and earned the nickname ML. As his weight increased, it changed to Meatloaf, which would stick with him for the rest of his life. After attending college at Lubbock Christian College, he transferred to North Texas State University. After receiving the inheritance from his mother, he rented an apartment in Dallas, then shortly afterwards moved to LA. Once he moved to LA, he formed his first band, Meatloaf Soul. Their first gig was opening for Van Morrison's band Them in 1968, and also opened for Janis Joplin. They had a few name changes for the band, including Popcorn Blizzard and Floating Circus. As the Floating Circus, they opened for The Who, The Fugs, The Stooges, MC5, Grateful Dead, and The Grease Band. He then joined the musical production of Hair. With the success of this production, he was invited to record with Motown, performing a duet with fellow Hair cast member Sean Stoney Murphy. On September 1971, the album Stoney and Meatloaf was released. They toured to support the album with the single What You See Is What You Get. In December 1972, he was cast in the original production of Rainbow at the Orpheum Theatre in New York. After this, he rejoined the cast of Hair on Broadway. He auditioned for the Public Theatre's production of More Than You Deserve. It was here that he met Jim Steinman. He recorded a single of More Than You Deserve, but the record company refused to release it, although he recorded another version of it in 1981. In late 1973, he was cast in the original Rocky Horror Show musical, playing the parts of Eddie and Dr. Everett Scott. The success of the musical led to the filming of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where he played as Eddie. It was around this time him and Jim Steinman started working on Bat Out of Hell. Meatloaf convinced Epic Records to shoot videos for 4 songs, including Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which he then convinced the producer of the Rocky Horror Show, Lou Adler, to run as a trailer for the movie. Meatloaf and Steinman started working on Bat Out of Hell in 1972, but they didn't get serious until 1974. Meatloaf decided to leave theatre and work exclusively in music, but he got an opportunity to work with his close friend John Belushi on National Lampoon show Lemmings. This is where he met Alan Foley, who would sing with him on the album Bat Out of Hell. After Lemmings finished, him and Steinman attempted to get a record deal. It wasn't until 1977 when they finally got a chance with Todd Rundgren, who decided to produce the album and be lead guitar. They eventually got a break with the Cleveland International Records, who took the risk with them. On October 1977, Bat Out of Hell was finally released. They formed a band called Neverland Express and toured in support of the album. Their first gig opened for Cheap Trick. Meatloaf then gained national exposure as a guest on Saturday Night Live. In 1978, he jumped off the stage in Ottawa while performing, breaking his leg and finishing the tour in a wheelchair. He catapulted into stardom with his album selling an estimated 43 million copies globally. Over the course of the next 10 years, there were ups and downs. Losing his voice from drugs, exhaustion, and excessive touring, a fallout with Jim Steinman and them suing each other, he still released 4 albums with success. On Christmas Day in 1989, Meatloaf and Steinman reunited. By the end of 1990, they began working on the sequel album Bat Out of Hell 2, Back Into Hell. Music insiders considered the project to be a joke, expecting it to flop, but the album was a huge success, with a single I Would Do Anything for Love But I Won't Do That being one of the biggest hits, staying at number 1 on the UK charts for 7 weeks. In 2003, he released the album Couldn't Have Said It Better. He accompanied this with a world tour. It was during the performance at Wembley Stadium on November 17th that he collapsed, later being diagnosed with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. He had surgery and was told he had to limit the duration of his performances. In 2011, he released the album Hell in a Handbasket in Australia and New Zealand, touring there for his Guilty Pleasure tour. During this time, he was booked to perform at the 2011 AFL Grand Final. The performance will become infamous due to the performance being labelled the worst pre-game entertainment in the 34 history of the AFL. Meatloaf responded by calling online critics butt sniffers and calling the AFL jerks, encouraging other performers not to play for them. In 2015, Meatloaf publicly apologised for his behaviour and lashing out, saying, "I want to now make an apology for any anger and harsh words I may have made towards the Australian Football League, the fans, and the people of Australia. I am truly sorry." On February 2020, he announced his intention to record a new album with 4 or 5 new tracks, including Steinman's What Part of the Body Hurts the Most. Jim Steinman passed away on April 29, 2021, to kidney failure. Throughout the several fallouts and legal battles, they had a great respect for each other. Meatloaf said of the passing of Steinman, "We belonged heart and soul to each other. We didn't know each other, we were each other." On November 2021, Meatloaf announced his band would return to the studio in January 2022 to record 7 new songs for the forthcoming album, but this would never eventuate. In total, he released 12 studio albums, with Bat Out of Hell trilogy selling more than 65 million copies worldwide. His acting career has been successful as well, appearing in almost 50 films, including Wayne's World, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Spice World, Wishcraft, Wishing and Hopin', Black Dog, and as Robert Paulson in Fight Club. He was married twice, first to Lindsay Edmonds in 1978. They had 1 child together, and Lindsay had a daughter from a previous relationship, which Meatloaf had adopted. They divorced in 2001. He then married Deborah Gillespie in 2007. He legally changed his name in 1984 from Marvin to Michael. He also revealed that he suffered from social anxiety, freaking out at social events, so he preferred work-related situations instead. He was also a vegetarian from 1981 until 1992, mentioning one time he was at an awards ceremony sitting with John Bon Jovi. Meatloaf said he was a fan of KD Lang and wanted to meet her. Word came back to him from KD Lang that she had no interest in meeting him as his name was Meatloaf. From that point on, he said he was no longer a fan of hers. He was not registered or loyal to any political party, performing for both Democrat Bill Clinton and Republican George W. Bush's inaugurations. It was on October 25, 2012, just over 12 months after the infamous performance at the AFL Grand Final, that he sang America the Beautiful while endorsing Mitt Romney, which was disastrous, resulting in widespread mockery. As mentioned previously, he had a range of health issues and scares, collapsing on stage in Ottawa and Pittsburgh, and in 2019 he fell off the interview stage at the Texas Frightmare Convention, breaking his collarbone. In 2021, he had surgery to remove a cyst from his back. He was also not a fan of COVID-19 restrictions. He was quoted as saying, "If he dies, but he won't be controlled." On January 7, 2022, his daughter announced that her and her family had contracted COVID-19, but no one was seriously sick. It's been reported that in recent days, Meatloaf's condition rapidly declined. He passed away on January 20th, 2022 at the age of 74, surrounded by his family. No cause of death has been revealed as of yet, but it is speculated it is complications with his COVID infection. If you've made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Once again, thank you very much for all your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.